What if the morning isn't just the start of the day, but the start of you? The Stoics believe that the first moments after waking don't just shape your day, they shape your life. These 7 morning actions aren't a checklist. They're a reset for the soul, tested over centuries. If you're seeking clarity, strength, and calm in a chaotic world, start here. Start now. Every morning you wake up, you get a quiet opportunity that most people miss. To remember how small you are and how much that matters. Imagine floating high above Earth, watching the clouds swirl, cities blink, oceans breathe. Somewhere down there is your name, your thoughts, your schedule. And yet, from that distance, none of it feels so heavy. The Stoics called this perspective the view from above. They practiced imagining life as brief and delicate, not to become numb or nihilistic, but to become awake. Because when you truly realize that your life is just a moment, a flicker between 2 eternities, something shifts. Your attention sharpens, your fears shrink, your energy comes back into your control. Marcus Aurelius would write in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." This wasn't morbid, it was liberating. Because when you start each day knowing it could be your last, you stop wasting your time living someone else's version of it. Reminding yourself of your mortality doesn't make life darker, it makes it brighter. You stop sweating things that don't matter. You stop waiting for some imagined future to feel alive. You begin treating your time like the miracle it is. You act with intention, you speak with care, you love with presence. You live. So take 2 minutes each morning, close your eyes, breathe, and remember, life is short, and that's exactly what makes it meaningful. Before your mind is hijacked by messages, headlines, and obligations, take a pen and check in with the one person you'll spend your entire life with, yourself. Sit down, just for a few minutes, and write. Nothing polished, nothing formal, just honest presence on paper. What are the first 3 thoughts you had after waking up? What emotions are still lingering from yesterday? What are you resisting right now? And what are you grateful for? The Stoics saw self-reflection not as a luxury, but a necessity. Seneca believed that unexamined emotions were dangerous, that we must observe them before they rule us. When you write without judgment, you begin to understand what's really driving you. Fear, desire, fatigue, hope. It all comes up. And when it's written down, it loses its grip. Don't edit. Don't try to be wise. Be real. The act of putting thoughts into words creates space between you and them. And in that space, you find clarity. You might be surprised how much is living under the surface. Worries you didn't notice, frustrations you've been ignoring, moments of beauty you almost missed. Writing brings it all forward, not to solve, but to see. This habit doesn't need to be long. 2 minutes of raw self-expression in the morning is enough to steady your internal compass. And when practiced daily, it becomes more than a ritual. It becomes a relationship with your own mind. Your journal becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, you'll begin to recognize who you really are. Most people wake up and immediately chase deadlines, chase results, chase approval. But the Stoics ask a different question. Not, what do I want to accomplish? But, who do I want to be today? This is the difference between goals and intentions. A goal is a finish line. An intention is a direction of being. You can miss a goal, but when you live with intention, you never fail because you're aligned. So take a quiet moment each morning and ask yourself, what virtue do I want to carry into this day? Maybe it's courage, to speak truth when it's easier to stay silent. Maybe it's patience, to stay calm when others are chaotic. Maybe it's wisdom, to respond instead of react. Epictetus wrote, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That means don't just think about the actions, think about the identity behind them. Are you acting from fear or from purpose? From reaction or from alignment? Choose a single word that represents how you want to move through the world today. Write it. Repeat it. Let it be your filter when stress comes in, when frustration rises, when choice meets impulse. And tonight, instead of asking, "Did I do everything I planned?" ask, "Was I who I wanted to be?" Because that's the measure the Stoics lived by. Not outcomes, but integrity. In a world chasing results, choose to return to values. That's how you build not just a productive day, but a meaningful life. Every day throws challenges your way. But what if you started the day by choosing the challenge yourself? The Stoics practiced something called voluntary discomfort. Not because they enjoyed pain, but because they knew. When you train your mind to embrace difficulty, life doesn't break you, it reveals you. So each morning, ask, what is one small thing I'm avoiding right now? Maybe it's the cold shower, the unread email, the honest conversation. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be real. Choose something uncomfortable, but doable, and do it. Willingly, without complaint, without negotiation. That choice is power, because the moment you stop running from difficulty, it loses its grip. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, in which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition I feared?'" He understood. Fear fades when you face it. Resilience grows when you choose it. Doing one hard thing in the morning sends a quiet signal to your brain. I don't avoid effort, I'm built for it. That message follows you, into traffic, into conflict, into pressure. And over time, it builds an unshakable identity, not of ease, but of strength. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about remembering that comfort doesn't make you stronger. Challenge does. And when it's chosen, on your terms, it becomes a tool, not a threat. So what's one thing you don't want to do today? Start there. That's where your courage lives. Before the world gets loud, be still. Don't check your phone. Don't reach for noise. Just sit and breathe. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly, and notice. Your body is alive. Your mind is awake. You are here. The Stoics didn't have meditation apps or guided breathing videos, but they deeply understood the value of stillness. Marcus Aurelius often wrote in solitude, reflecting on the chaos of leadership with remarkable calm. Why? Because he made time to be quiet before he made decisions that affected millions. In our world, silence is rare and often uncomfortable. We're trained to fill every space, to avoid even a second of stillness. But silence isn't empty. It's where the truth begins to surface. In these 2 minutes, observe what arises. What thoughts keep coming back? What emotion is living in your chest? What physical sensations show up when you stop trying to fix everything? The goal isn't to control your breath or empty your mind. The goal is to witness it, with no agenda, no judgment, just presence. Seneca said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." The same is true internally. If your mind is scattered before the day even starts, how can your actions be grounded? Stillness brings you back, to your breath, to your body, to what matters. Begin each day with silence, not because it's trendy, but because it's sacred. It reminds you, before you do, you are, and that's enough. The body needs food. The mind needs direction. Every morning choose one Stoic idea and carry it with you like armor. You don't need an entire philosophy course, just a sentence, a phrase, a single line of clarity. Maybe it's Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Maybe it's Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Or Seneca. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Pick one. Read it slowly. Repeat it out loud. Then ask, what does this mean for me today? Philosophy isn't for decoration. It's for action. It's fuel for your decisions. When you root your thinking in something deeper than emotion, your behavior transforms. You stop reacting to life. You begin responding to it. The Stoics believed wisdom should be lived, not quoted. So apply the quote. If today's about self-discipline, how will you show it when distraction comes? If it's about acceptance, how will you respond when something goes wrong? Think of your chosen thought like a compass. When stress pulls you sideways, it reorients you. When you get lost in the noise, it brings you home. You become what you contemplate. Feed your mind with something worthy, and carry it with reverence through the day. What if most of your stress came from trying to control what isn't yours? The Stoics believed this was the root of unnecessary suffering. Epictetus called it the dichotomy of control, the fundamental difference between what belongs to you and what never did. Each morning, take a moment and ask, what today is fully in my power? Your choices, your effort, your attitude, your words. Then ask, what is not? The weather, other people's opinions, the traffic, the algorithm, the past, the future. And here's the practice. Release what isn't yours, not out of apathy, but out of discipline, because every minute you spend trying to fix the uncontrollable is a minute you lose for the things you can shape. This shift doesn't make you passive. It makes you focused. When you stop wasting energy fighting what you can't change, you finally have the energy to change what you can. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have been assigned your portion. Embrace it. That portion is small, but mighty. You don't control the storm, but you control your hands on the wheel. So begin each day with a reset. What fears can I release? What pressures can I let pass through me? What choices can I own today, fully and without excuse?" Control is not about grasping tighter. It's about knowing where to place your hands, and when you get that right, your energy returns, your anxiety fades, and your actions carry real power. Each morning is like tuning an instrument, and that instrument is you. If you tune yourself to calm, courage, and clarity, your day will sound different. 7 simple actions. But if you practice them every day, you don't just live life. You live it like a Stoic.